Leadership is an art of giving meaningful direction. It is a process of influencing towards goal achievement. It's a capacity to define oneself to others and an effort to expand the vision for the future. 1st January 1907, a century ago, saw the birth of a rare future. On that historic day, a leader was born to the illustrious parents, Sri M. Chengaya Chetty and Srimati Swarnamba. It was not the typical leadership. It was a leadership that was multifaceted, which impacted sectors so varied and diverse and touched lives of men at every rung of the society. It was a leadership which was tall and yet reachable. A leadership that was stately and still forthcoming. Above all, a leadership that had an immediate acceptance and following in every task that this leader set himself about. M.R. Arya is the name of this leader, which name at once brings to mind an intelligent electrical engineer, an astute banker, a meticulous administrator, a committed social worker, and a generous philanthropist, all culminating into being one great visionary. He was not just a leader to his teammates. He was a loving brother to his colleagues, a teacher for the avid and enthusiastic, a spokesman of every cause that endeared him, a beacon for the bemused, and a worker who would never rest. He was not an authority, but an influence. His energy was infectious. He was barely 22 when the principal of the Government Engineering College from which he graduated endorsed his application to the Electrical Department of Government of Mysore as enthusiastic young man of dependable character with cheerful disposition and academic brilliance. In fact, it was his brilliance in academics, cheerful disposition, dependable character, and flourishing enthusiasm that saw him rise up in every situation, position, setting, and environment. He was such a versatile personality that not many knew him fully. Even his name is not known in its full form to many. By the writing on the scroll, he was Margapuram Raghavendra Arya. He carried forward the legacy of Margapuram Chengaya Chetty, his illustrious father, and accomplished even more. Arya's father, Margapuram Chengaya Chetty's administrative canniness was such that he was the chosen one by Sir M. Vishveshwaraya to help him giving shape to many of his dream projects as the Diwan of Mysore. He helped Sir M.V. to establish the Mysore Bank in the public sector. On his own, he co-founded the Vaishya Bank Limited, which grew to become the largest private sector bank in India in 1985. Chengaya Chetty was one of the founders of the Vaishya Hostel and the Vaishya Cooperative Bank too. Born to such an illustrious father, M.R. Arya's glorious future was sketched even at a very young age. Arya's life is an illustration of a perfect blend of the best of both worlds. His traditional initiation to learning, Aksharabhashyam, happened in the Vedic style in Shankaramat, but his formal learning was under the tutelage of two Anglo-Indian teachers. He was at ease in the orthodox dhoti and at the same time was a la mode in the three-piece suit. Seethed in the nuances of family business, he was even academically predisposed. He struck a perfect balance, even in contrast. Perhaps what drove him through these incongruities is the constancy of his purpose. A purpose backed by a clarity of vision and honesty of intent. M.R. Arya studied in the Government High School and graduated as an electrical engineer in 1929 from the Government Engineering College in Bangalore. He married Ranganayakamma in 1927. She stood by him in all his endeavours with her loving and unstinted support. His professional career started as a laboratory assistant in the electrical department of the government of Mysore in 1930 and scaled up the administrative ladder to reach the post of superintending engineer in 1955 with sheer demonstration of his sense of duty and commitment. It was in the year 1955 that he was appointed as the Joint Director of Industries by the government. His first corporate post at the helm was that of the Managing Director of REMCO, the Radio and Electricals Manufacturing Company, a government-owned technology enterprise of yesteryears. REMCO was the fertile land in which the mighty M.R. Arya tree put down its roots. This gave him the much-needed challenges he was eagerly waiting to encounter. Both his technical and managerial skills, which were waiting to blossom and fructify, started flowing. He turned around this company by deftness and dexterity, ability and astuteness, proficiency and knack. Not only did his Midas touch bring the company out of its depletion, in fact, the share price of REMCO crossed 100 rupees from the mere 3 rupees during his stint. It also earned him enormous goodwill of its labour force, who to this day regard his stewardship years as the golden years of REMCO. Arya was sagacious. He was committed to a purpose. Although he was caught between unloving critics and uncritical lovers, he stood resolute in his pursuits. At a time when anything foreign in industry was suspiciously considered as an external intrusion, he brought in world-class methods and processes that lifted the quality of the products and boosted the image of the company. The trailblazing success of Toshiba Japan's collaboration to manufacture electric meters even evinced Toshiba to offer manufacturing of their entire range of products at REMCO under his management. REMCO was suddenly in the spotlight, drawing attention and interest by many a corporate and political leader of the times. In 1962, when Arya turned 55, he retired from REMCO, but not from life. The intensity of the leadership fire in him was still strong. He took up the challenges of managing Batley Boy and Company as its general manager, which made spectacular progress under his stewardship. The technocrat in him came out in full steam during his overseas collaboration negotiations that took the sales of Batley Boy and Company to great heights. In 1969, he retired from Batley Boy and Company, but was still raring to go further. He took over the chairmanship of the Vaishya Bank Limited in 1969 and with sheer performance shattered the doubts cast on his inexperience in the finance sector. He braved the turmoil the banking industry in India was suddenly put into by the historic nationalization of 14 major banks in 1969 by steering Vaishya Bank with the expertise of a great navigator and steersman. With deftness, he quickly aligned the bank with the new national priorities and policies and yet achieved tremendous business growth and geographical expansion, belying all skepticism. A true leader of his men, he was instrumental in forming the first ever housing colony of Vaishya Bank in Bangalore, aptly named after him as Arya Nagar. His involvement and commitment to the KEB Engineers Association, the Arya Vaishya Mahasabha, and the Arya Vaishya Officials and Professionals Association, briefly called AVUPA, bear ample testimony for the social causes that he incessantly strived for. While to the engineers of the erstwhile Karnataka Electricity Board, he enabled a forum that helped their cause, to the Arya Vaishya community, his contributions were even larger. Traditionally considered to be only traders and merchants, the community got a new recognition under his role model as professionals and officials. This also served as an impetus to the next-gen Vaishyas to look beyond family-owned businesses to successfully explore corporate and professional positions with higher academic accomplishments. His leadership and contribution to society came for recognition in many ways. In the year 1974, he was conferred with the coveted Karnataka State Rajyotsava Award by the state government. Engineer, administrator, banker to a social worker, M.R. Arya's life has been a moving current, never to stop even for a brief while, but lighting up thousands of lives on its course, undaunted and undeterred. During his lifetime, he was a part of innumerable organizations and reached out to thousands. He lived a full 93 years and left a legacy of a lifetime of achievements. He played the roles of a shrewd trader and businessman, an accomplished engineer, competent administrator, astute banker, savvy industrialist, knowledgeable consultant, eminent academician, avid educationist, selfless philanthropist, committed social worker. His radiant personality was reflected in innumerable facets. Dignified he might have appeared, but gracious was his demeanor. Measured might have been his thoughts, but magnanimous was his character. He was big-hearted, chivalrous, energetic and friendly. He was an enigmatic leader anyone would want to simply follow. He led a life of example. His deeds inspire. His ideals ennoble. His vision gives us a direction. His endeavors give us a cause to carry on. He has set in motion innumerable tasks for the benefit of society, which need a push to sustain its movement. Now is the time. The centenary year of this dawn beckons us to carry forward his ideals. Let's join hands.